Hi Verbling, my name is Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about error detection and common mistakes. If you guys are interested in private classes, send me a message. Ana Carolina, welcome back. How many classes have you done today so far?
This is the number 4.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Is that average for you or a lot?
It's the average. I attend a class in the morning, one during my lunchtime, and then when I got home, I took it 2 or depending on the day, a bit more. But I'm not the only student who does that. And
Very
honestly,
cool.
no, it's not cool at all. Maybe I shouldn't quit English.
You shouldn't quit?
Maybe I should.
Why?
I'm sorry. No, I shouldn't. Sorry.
Definitely, yeah. I think the more the better, but 4 classes a day, I think that's pretty good. I mean, you're definitely making use of your time and working really hard. I read during the last class, I only was able to keep up with some of the, oh no, is it bad? I was only able to keep up with some of them because like while we were talking a lot, weird. But yeah, while we were talking a lot, sometimes it's hard for me to like be reading while I'm trying to listen to someone, so I didn't catch all of it. But I wouldn't worry about the chat box. I wouldn't worry about it. Crazy things happen there sometimes, but most of the time it's okay. I've never had anything super terrible happen in the chat box. All right, Carlos, welcome to class.
Hi, teacher. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. This is my last class of the day out of 5. It was supposed to be 6, but I had a problem with one of them that didn't work out. What have you been doing today?
Nothing interesting. No, more normally, teacher. Everything is normally.
What's normal?
I don't know because I don't know. It's the beginning of the week, maybe.
Yeah, womp womp. But it's not Monday, so at least that. All right. So we're talking about error detection and common mistakes today. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay, all right. Just making sure my picture is frozen, or I see my picture is frozen. I wanted to make sure it wasn't a bigger problem. All right. Yeah, we're talking about error detection, and let's just start by brainstorming some common errors that you guys have noticed in other students, or maybe something you're working on yourself that you know you do and you need to improve on, but you're still working to get there. Ana Carolina, would you like to start?
Yes. Thank you.
So go ahead and tell us some common mistakes that you are working on or that you've seen other students work with.
Okay. I haven't done this mistake, never. But I've seen some people saying I'm agree instead of I agree.
Yes, definitely. I've heard that as well.
But it's not my case. One mistake I make often is the pronunciation, the G at the end. I believe for me the most difficult thing is to convey exactly what I try to convey. I don't know. I think I sound different. Maybe I sound impolite when I don't intend because it's not my native language. I don't know. I must have a problem.
Well, I think that as long as you're doing your best, that's all you can do. And most people are a little more self-conscious than is actually true. So usually you are your harshest critic, and if you think, I'm terrible, really you're not so bad. All right, Carlos, what are some common mistakes that you've noticed or that you commit yourself and still have to work on?
There are many mistakes that I made. For example, when I try to write something, for example, an email, or try to summarize some book that I wrote before, I get a little bit confused with gerunds and infinitive, with verbs,
Oh yeah,
basically.
those are really tough.
Yes. Another mistake that I made are, of course, in conversation. In conversation, maybe be more confidence, or for example, when I have a technical conversation, it's not easy. For example, try to follow a great conversation because sometimes I forgot some words and I are a little bit quiet while I think in the word. It's not easy. Not easy.
Not easy. True. Yeah. Well, thank you. That's a lot of mistakes. Some of those mistakes we'll be looking at today, and some of them we'll work on another time. Thanks, Carlos. And Gregor, did I say your name right? I think I've had you in class before. Is it Gregor? Gregor, are you there? I can't hear you, so I would try adjusting your settings at the top of the screen. Maybe you're replugging in your microphone or just reloading. Sometimes that helps. And if you have any questions, let me know in the chat box. Marcelo, welcome to class. Tell us some common mistakes that you've noticed other students making or that you commit yourself and you're trying to work on.
Okay, hello everyone. I have difficulty with, for example, 2 and 4. I never know when I use 2 or 4, and it's a little difficult for me the present perfect because in Portuguese we don't have this kind of verb, and it's a little difficult to understand. What else? And sometimes I forget the past. For example, the pronunciation for me for the verbs with ed in the end. It's the pronunciation. It's a little difficult for me.
Yeah, Anna mentioned that as well.
Yes, engaged. For example, I never know the end of the word. I think I have a lot of them, but I don't remember more.
All right, well, that's a pretty good amount.
Okay.
Thanks for contributing. And Wilson, you're up next. Tell us about some common mistakes you've noticed other people making or that you still struggle with yourself.
I beg your pardon, teacher?
So I'm asking everyone to talk a little bit about mistakes that you know you make, but sometimes it's difficult to know how to do it correctly, or some mistakes you've seen other students make that you might not make yourself.
You mean when I speak English, is that?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Okay, I think my problem is stressing words, the intonation, and the th, the schwa sound. I think that's my main problem. I'm thinking of taking some pronunciation classes because I have a nice, I think a pretty good vocabulary, some structures I have, but when I speak, I think it's not the accent is too Brazilian.
Got it. Yeah, a lot of people are self-conscious of their accent. But it's good to keep in mind that it's something that makes you unique and isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Okay, I think it will be the next step, the next level to achieve.
Definitely. You could always improve, right?
Yes.
Never stop trying. Okay, so let's get going. We're going to do some sentence correction today. We're going to start with some sentence correction. We're going to start with number 29 and work our way back. And I believe there are a couple of these sentences that don't actually have mistakes in them. So your job is going to be to read the sentence, try to correct the sentence, or to say, no, this sentence is correct already. You guys all ready? Let's start with number 29. And Ana Carolina, will you read it for us and then tell us what the mistake is?
Okay, this one is basic. Bill doesn't pay the bills yet. Bill didn't pay the bills yet, because of the yet. It should be in the past tense, but this one is quite easy.
Yeah, it makes more contextual sense to put it in the simple past. He didn't pay the bills yet. Thank you very much, Ana Carolina. Number 28, Carlos.
Okay, Jenny stopped to smoke. She will never smoke again. The mistake, let me see. Verb stopping past can be continued with to.
So how would the correct version sound?
Jenny stopped smoke.
You're
She will
really
never
close. That's not quite it. You do have to get rid of the to. And you said something about the continuous, right?
I don't know, teacher.
Does anyone else want to more fully explain what he's getting at there?
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the correct sentence should be Jenny stopped smoking.
Yeah, and why?
I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to explain. When you... Okay, I'm going to try. My gosh. How can I explain? Stop, for instance, stop, stopped smoking. You were smoking and then you stopped. I'm sorry, I have no idea how to explain.
It's really tough to explain. Go ahead. Someone else wanted to.
I think the explanation is that after the verb stop, you have to use gerund.
No,
Well,
not always.
Not always. Not always. No? All right. So since you guys, I think you all have a pretty good understanding of it, but you're struggling a little bit to put it into words, I'll help you guys out and give you an explanation for this one. We can use either. There's a few different categories of verbs when it comes to gerunds and infinitives, and you guys sound like you're familiar with them already. There are some verbs that have gerunds that come after them, and some verbs that use the to infinitive after them. There's a small collection of words where it doesn't matter which one you use. You can use, for instance, like. I like swimming, or I like to swim. It means the same thing, no difference. But there are a few words where it makes a difference in meaning depending on what you say, if it's with the gerund or with the to infinitive. So in this case, Jenny stopped to smoke. It has the meaning that Jenny was doing something else. We'll say Jenny was taking a walk, and she decided to stop walking in order to start smoking. So the meaning here is not very logical with the next sentence, she will never smoke again. Jenny stopped walking to smoke, basically is what that means. So it gives us the sense that there's some other activity that she stopped. But if you use the gerund, Jenny stopped smoking, it means that she stopped in a more permanent sense. So the thing that she stopped was the activity of smoking, not any other activity. So when you use the ing, it means we're talking about that activity. If you say Jenny stopped to smoke, it means in order to smoke, for the purpose of smoking. Make sense?
Okay, yes.
Does anyone else have questions on that, or no? We're good. Okay. I know it's kind of a tough one to explain and to wrap your mind around. Let's do number 27. Marcelo, it's your turn.
Bananas is growing many parts of South America. Bananas is has been growing in many parts of South America.
You're right that the problem is with the verb, but you don't necessarily have to change the tense of the verb.
Okay, bananas is just growing with ing. It's growing in many parts of South America.
There's still something wrong even if you change that. The problem is with the verb is. It doesn't match up with the subject.
Oh, of course. Yes, bananas are grow. Okay.
Yes.
Bananas are grow in many parts of South America. Yes.
Yeah, so in this case, it would be a passive sentence. Bananas are grown. Or you could, if you wanted to, change it to continuous, but that's not necessary. Okay. Thanks, Marcelo. Wilson, number 26.
Okay, number 26. I hate this movie. It was okay. I think was is not okay. It's shown every Christmas without was.
Okay, so you could change it to it is shown every Christmas, definitely. And you're right, why can't we use was? Why is that weird?
Because was, it's a auxiliary verb and it's auxiliary verb. Yes?
But even if you change it to it is shown, we still have an auxiliary verb. Or rather, I guess that would make that an adjective. So the problem is with the tense, not with the extra verb.
The tense.
Yeah, the tense. We're using simple past if we use was. And I see what you're saying. So it's just extra, okay. Right? That's what you're saying?
It's being shown every Christmas?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Okay.
It's been shown every Christmas, or the way you originally corrected it is also correct, as long as you take out the simple past, because we can't use the simple past here.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Wilson. We're back to Ana Carolina for number 25.
I will go and see Marnie on the way home if I had time. I will go and see Marnie on the way home if I have time. Either this way or I would go and see Marnie on the way home if I had time.
Excellent. Well done. Yes, one of those tenses has to change for them to match up better chronologically. Thanks, Ana Carolina. Carlos, will you do number 24?
Okay, I'm just such relief to get home. The try was terrible. Let me see. I'm just such a relief getting home. The train was terrible.
Okay, so that changes the sentence, but we still have a little mistake, and the problem is with the beginning. I'm just such relieved. We used the wrong word. One of those is wrong.
Maybe the sentence is without such.
Yes, we have to take such out. Does
Mhm.
anyone know why we have to take such out? Nobody? So can we ever say such relieved or such sad or such happy? We cannot. No one knows why? Dun, dun, dun. All right, I'll tell you. So such comes before nouns, only nouns. He was such a jerk, or she was such a cute child. So you have to finish such with a noun starting with an article. Such a, or, such an interesting person. But you have to use it before a noun. So is the word we more commonly use with adjectives. You can say so relieved. If you want, you can replace such with so, or you can just take out such. So I'm just so relieved to get home, or so happy, so sad. So is for adjectives, and such is for nouns. Cool. Good thing to go over. Number 23, Marcelo.
I've never been to so bad a restaurant. It's a little difficult for me, this sentence. I have never been so bad. No to. I have never been so bad in a restaurant. Maybe.
Not exactly. It has sort of a similar idea to the last one. The reason we need to rearrange it is sort of similar to the last one, even though it's a little more complex.
Okay.
And maybe I'll just explain this one, because I think it's kind of tough to explain.
I have no idea. Yeah.
You did good. I'll explain it a little bit better, though.
Thank you.
Even though right here we have so in front of an adjective, which is what I just told you is the good way to arrange a sentence, right? And it is. But the thing is, we sort of arranged it in kind of an odd way, because bad, the adjective, would usually come before the noun, a bad restaurant. So what this person has done is rearrange it so they know, they're like, okay, I need an adjective after so. So they took the adjective out from the noun and they put it there, and it's something that you sometimes hear native speakers do. So sometimes a native speaker will say, I've never been to so bad a restaurant, but really it should be, I've never been to such a bad restaurant, because we have that noun right there. Instead of trying to force it and use so, you can just use such and leave everything in the traditional order, which would be article, adjective, noun. So in this case, it would be so, or such a bad restaurant. All right. Questions on that? Or anything else we've gone over so far?
Could you write the correct form and the...
On this document, if you open it,
Yes.
it has, oh, it doesn't have the corrections. I had one that had the corrections. Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry, my old copy of this had all the correct sentences at the bottom, but that's really important, actually.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I believe it's Wilson's turn, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and read the next one.
Okay, I think I'm going to the hospital to see a friend who has undergone an operation. Maybe the article is not okay.
Yeah, so you changed it. You added an article in front of hospital, right?
Yes, to the hospital to see a friend who has undergone a operation or.
Yes, exactly. An operation, because it starts with a vowel.
Yes, an operation. Yes.
Excellent. That was a simple fix. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm copying this so that I can make the corrections in a second. Okay, number 21, we're back to the beginning with Ana Carolina.
Pizza isn't as big as Rome.
What do you think?
I told you, pizza isn't as big as Rome.
I see, you already made the correction. Yes, you're right. We need to change like for as. And why do we need to do that?
I don't know how. I don't know how to explain.
It's not always easy to explain something even when you know the answer. Does anyone else want to try? No? So we use like for comparisons, but we can't use it in combination with as. You either say, this is as good as that, or as bad as that, or you can say, this is like that. So they have a similar quality, but you can't compare specific qualities. So there's a slight difference in how we use those, and sometimes people try and mix them up, and it's not easy. Carlos, go ahead and do number 20.
Okay. When have you been to America the last time? The correct sentence could be when have you been in America last time?
Okay, so it's the preposition you're changing?
Me said the particle de, da, and to out.
Okay, I would say the order could also be rearranged a little bit. We've got, it's a little bit weird to say the last time all the way at the end there. So how can you rearrange that?
Or maybe it could be correct in that way. When were the last time when you been in America?
Yeah, when's the last time that you've been to America? Would be a much better construction for this.
Okay.
Well done. Thanks. Marcelo, number 19.
Okay, don't let me to watch TV too long. I have to study for tomorrow's test. Maybe don't let me watch TV too long, with no too. Don't let me watch TV too long.
Exactly.
I think the second part is correct. I have to study for tomorrow's test.
Excellent job. All right. Wilson, number 18.
18. We had great time on the top of mountain. We had great time on the top. Maybe at the top of the mountain. We had great time at the top of the mountain.
Also possible, but there's another problem.
Another problem? We had great time on the top of the mountain. No, I don't know.
Does anyone else see?
We had a great time on the top.
Exactly. The article is the biggest difference, the biggest change. You can change some other things, but that's the big mistake there. All right, we have someone new, or not new to Verbling, but new to this class. Ali, welcome to class.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Ali. So we're continuing our sentence correction, and we're currently on number 17. Would you like to give that one a try?
Yeah, okay. When Tom got home, Jan had cooked dinner. Maybe Jan had been cooked.
Jane had been cooked?
Yeah.
Well, that would work if Jane was what was being served for dinner, if we were going to eat Jane for dinner. This one is actually debatable as to whether there's a mistake or not. Does anyone else want to talk a little bit about the tenses used in this sentence? No? So what tenses do we use? Ali, what tenses are used in this sentence?
It's a past and past participle or past.
Yeah, past perfect and simple past, and those usually go pretty well together. So there's one option to say that there's nothing wrong with this sentence. But which happened first? Did Tom get home first, or did Jane cook dinner first, if we use the sentence this way?
Yeah, maybe I replace the past by a past participle because yeah, I think that Tom had got home, then he cooked at dinner.
Okay, so we can change it and we can make them both simple past, in which case we might have to add another word like then. When Tom got home, then Jane cooked dinner, or when Tom got home, Jane cooked dinner, meaning Tom got home first and then Jane cooked dinner. If we use it the way that it is, it means that she already finished cooking dinner and then he got home. So it depends. It could be a correct sentence. It just depends on the context.
Yeah, okay.
All right, number 16, Ana Carolina.
I know Simon for 23 years. I don't know.
It's a tense problem. We're missing something.
Gosh. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Are you still thinking, or should I ask someone else?
It's up to you. If you
Well, let's look at this a little closer.
Someone else, I don't know the
What tense is it in, Ana Carolina?
the present.
Yes. And what's the other context information we have? We've got for 23 years. Can you have 23 years in the present?
Oh, okay. Thank you. I've known.
Yeah, exactly. Once you see it, it's pretty simple to correct. I've known Simon for 23 years. Awesome, thanks. Carlos, number 14.
Okay, I watched TV when suddenly the telephone was ringing. The correct structure is I was watching TV when suddenly the telephone was ringing.
Yes, the first correction was right, but you have to change the second one too. So, say that again?
I was watching TV when suddenly the telephone.
Yeah, so far that's good. Just change the tense of the next verb. Instead of was ringing,
It's past continuous.
it is now, but it shouldn't be. So how can we change it? What's a better tense to use?
I don't know.
Your instinct for the first one was great, because we do need to change that one. I was watching TV when suddenly the telephone, and then we need the simple past. Carlos, will you give us the simple past for that verb?
Okay, when suddenly the telephone rang.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So in this case, it's very common for us to use continuous and simple past. So you're saying an action was taking place and then it stopped because something happened. You're kind of creating a timeline where you show the difference of events. There was a period of something happening, and then this other thing happened all of a sudden. Create some drama there. Thank you, Carlos. Marcelo, go next.
I have been to England 4 years ago. I think I have been in England 4 years ago.
The preposition is actually fine. There's no problem with
Yeah.
the preposition. You got to change something else. It's a problem with the context, the time phrase we've given, and the tense.
Okay. Actually, I don't know.
Does anyone else know what the mismatch problem is there?
I think it's not I have been, but I went to England 4 years ago, a specific time.
Yeah, that's one way to correct it. What's the other way we can correct it? There's one other way. Nobody?
I was in England 4 years ago, for example.
Yeah, yes. So our options here are either to keep the present continuous, or sorry, the present perfect tense, and get rid of the time phrase 4 years ago, because with present perfect, we really cannot use a specific time phrase unless we're using since. And when you say 4 years ago, you're talking about something that's over and done, like I turned 15 10 years ago, right? So that's one event 10 years ago means it happened in the past and it's over and done. So we can't use ago in this context. You either can change the tense to simple past, or you can change the context and get rid of that time phrase.
Okay.
All right. Ooh, was it Marcelo next?
Actually, I did the last one.
Oh yeah, sorry, I got mixed up. Wilson,
Which one, please? It's
number 13, I believe.
13. Okay. What do you suggest we say to your mother? I think, okay, there's no need do. What you suggest we say to your mother?
Actually, this is one of the correct sentences, and you do in fact need the auxiliary verb do. So it's correct exactly the way that it is.
Yes? Do you is not for interrogative question, interrogative sentence?
Well, it is, but an interrogative sentence is with a question mark. And oh, I see. There's no question mark. That's the problem.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, we need a question mark. That's the only thing that we can change. Or if you want to make it not a question, what did you say you wanted to do if you wanted to make it not a question?
Another question. What you suggest we say to your mother?
Well, if it's not a question, we can't use what. So
No
it would be
matter
something like
everything suggest we say to your mother, maybe.
well, not anything. If you wanted to make it a statement, you would have to leave off all of that and just say, like, you suggest, it's hard because we don't have enough context information to make this a sentence. If you wanted to make up some context information, like, you suggest we...
Everything you suggest we say to your mother, could be.
Okay, yeah, you could say that. That's a possibility.
Okay.
All right. And we're back to Ali for number 12.
Yeah, you don't have to use the stairs because there's an elevator. You don't have to use the stairs because there's... Um, I don't know, but You sh you shouldn't have, or you don't have. There are?
Hmm?
No, I don't know. I didn't find a.
This one for sure is correct. No problems here. You don't have to use the stairs because there is an elevator. Perfect.
Yeah.
Trick one. All right, number 11, Ana Carolina.
I suggest you find out more about this problem. I don't know.
Good, but we're still missing one word between suggest and find.
I suggest you to find out more about this problem.
That would be right if you left the two out. So you can say, I suggest you find out more about this problem.
Okay, thank you.
All right, number 10. Carlos.
Okay, has she have to go now? Have she has to go now?
Close. We're exchanging one of the auxiliary verbs for a different one. So we don't want to use have twice in this sentence.
So is have she?
The
Have she
first
go
one
now?
is wrong. The first have is wrong. So take out has and replace it with something else.
So is okay. She have to go now.
Yeah, but we need to replace the first has with something else, a different auxiliary verb. Does anyone know?
I know. Does
Yes.
does she have to go home?
Yep.
Does she have to go now? May I ask you a question?
Sure.
After suggest, we have always to use the gerund.
You're talking about number 9, right?
No, number 11.
Yeah.
Because I answered. I suggest you to find out more about this problem. Why is it wrong?
So you want to know, what was the sentence you said? I suggest you to find out more?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first problem is that if you say it in that way, it makes it look like the you belongs to suggest, when that's not the case.
Sorry?
So you cannot say I suggest you or I suggest me. And if you say I suggest you to find out more, the you would belong to the verb suggest, which is incorrect because it does not take a personal pronoun like that. The object has to be something else. So in the, yeah.
The correction you made was I suggest you find out more.
Yeah, I know. It's because in that case, the whole object is you find out more about this problem. It becomes a different phrase. So instead of belonging to the verb, it belongs to the other side. I know it's hard to understand why, but if you say, I suggest you finding out more, or I suggest you to find out more, that you belongs to the verb suggest, but if you change it to be a whole complete sentence, you find out more about this problem, it's a complete sentence. It has a subject, a verb, and prepositional phrases and all that stuff. The whole sentence becomes the object of suggest instead of just the word you. So if we wanted to make more examples of this, we could say, I suggest Sally goes to the store early in the morning. Or I suggest he walks to the grocery store. And if you make it a whole sentence, he walks to the grocery store, Sally goes to the store in the morning, then it becomes the whole sentence that's the object. The only thing you cannot do is say, I suggest you finding out, or I suggest you going to the store. Do you guys want to do a little more practice with this one? Silence? Total silence? Let's do a little more practice with this one, because it is a confusing one. And even though it looks very similar, the one that's correct and the one that's not, they're different. And I think you guys can figure it out. So let's all make a sentence that's incorrect first. We'll start with the easy part. Wilson, can you give me a sentence where suggest is followed by an object, a personal pronoun object like you, he, she?
A sentence where the pronoun, how is?
So we're talking about a pronoun like you, he, she, we, them. So make a sentence where suggest is used incorrectly, meaning that you say, I suggest them, I suggest him, I suggest us. Make a sentence with a little context.
I suggest you to go away.
All right, I suggest you to go away. Does anyone have an idea how we can change that so we have a complete sentence after suggest? Because what we have right now is you to go away, which is not a complete sentence. How can we change you to go away into a complete sentence? How about Ali? Any ideas?
No.
Oh my gosh. I think you guys are getting discouraged, and I don't want that. So let me change something really quick. I'm copying all the corrections I've made. I'm going to give you all the corrections at the end of class. And I'm going to put some other stuff in the chat box for now. So we have, I suggest, and you to go away. What we need to have is we need to have a complete sentence on the right side. Right now we don't. We have a fragment, right? You to go away. And I'm going to put this in the other one as well, in the chat box. You to go away. Okay, so that's wrong. What we need to do is change it so that there is a complete sentence on the right side, which would look like you go away. Complete sentence. We have a subject, we have a verb, and in this case, we have a preposition. You go away. So let's try it again. I'll come up with another one. You suggest me finding a hotel. So again, we have you suggest, and what we want is for there to be a complete sentence on the other side. So me finding a hotel, that's not a complete sentence. Right?
I find a hotel, yes?
Yes, exactly. So all you have to do is change it to I find a hotel. You suggest I find a hotel.
You
Perfect.
suggest I find a hotel, okay.
Is that making more sense now that you've seen it a couple times?
Yes.
So,
Teacher.
teacher.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. So I suggest you find out more about this problem. Instead of finding.
Exactly.
So it's much I suggest you finding is I suggest you find.
Yes, I suggest you find.
Without the ing?
Without the ing, yes.
I thought you had told me I suggest you finding.
Ah, that would have been a little bit funny. That wouldn't have been quite right. Part of the struggle here is that you is the same as an object and as a subject, but it's easier to see with the second one. I suggest, or sorry, no, that's you suggest. You suggest I find a hotel. And I'm going to write that in both chat boxes. Do you guys have any other questions on that concept?
I suggest you watch the new movie.
Yes, exactly. Perfect.
I suggest you visit Rio. I suggest you go to the Great.
Perfect. Exactly. You've got it. All right. So I don't remember whose that was originally. Was it Carlos's? How about Wilson? Will you start and do the next one for us? Number 10.
Number 10. Okay, has she have to go now? Does she have to go now?
Yeah. Didn't we already do that one? Oh, yeah, we already did that one, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so, yes. I think it's number 9.
Okay. All right. Ana Carolina, number 9.
Okay. Claude suggests I go to the cinema this evening.
Yeah, that's a perfect sentence the way you said it. Claude suggested I go to the cinema this evening. Now, you can also leave it the way it is, because in this case, we don't have an object. So you are totally welcome to add one that gives us more information and is perfect that way. But because we don't have an object here, we don't necessarily need to rearrange the sentence. We just follow it with an ing, which is another possibility. I suggest swimming, I suggest going, I suggest doing, whatever.
Teacher, did you say suggest going?
Yes.
With the ing?
Yes. But because there's no object here. There's no you going. You cannot say I suggest you going.
So I'm confused again. Why do we have to put a subject?
The reason is that
in
suggest
the
cannot take an object. Suggest cannot take an object. Some verbs take an object. Can you hear me?
Hold on. Let me ask you. Number 9. Claudia suggests going to the cinema this evening would be okay.
Yes, correct.
So why I suggest finding out more is not okay? I'm confused. I'm sorry.
No, let's go down. Let's go back to that one.
I'm sorry.
No. It's totally fine. Where was it? That one, I think because the way, I forget, it was something about the way we tried to change the sentence, we put an object here. I think it was because the person who was correcting it put you here, and we had to fix that. So in this case, it makes a little bit more sense to make it a full sentence at the end. Where is it? Number 11, and what was the other one?
11
I see.
And 9, because you told me that Claude suggested going to the cinema this evening would be okay. So if we left the number 11 this way, it would be okay?
Yes. This would be fine the way that it is, or if you want to add an object, you have to make it a whole sentence, and you have to change find. You have to change it to find.
Thank you very much. Now I've got it for the first time in my life.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's like really confusing, but I think you guys have it, and it's not as hard as it seems. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but I think you guys have it. Anyone else have a question on either of those sentences?
No.
Awesome. Then, oh, I lost our place again. We only have a couple more minutes. Wilson, will you do number 8?
Number 8.
No. I did the last one.
Oh, okay, so it should be Carlos then.
Okay.
So it's my turn?
Yep.
Okay, number 8. I have lost my keys again. The answer is I have been lost my keys again.
If you use been, you'll have to change lost to losing. But that wouldn't make a lot of sense. I do think we can improve upon this sentence by changing the tense. That's true. Well, I think this one's okay the way it is, but you could also change it to I lost my keys again. So you can keep it in the simple past or leave it the way it is in the present perfect, kind of depending on what you want to mean. If it were two singular events, or if this is something that's on and off all the time.
Okay.
So it's okay the way it is. Number 7, this will be our last one. Wilson, will you do number 7?
Okay, we're going to the party next week. Theka, are you going to the party next week?
That one's a pretty easy one.
Okay.
We just have to change the auxiliary.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the answers to the next few. That way we can just wrap up, and then I'm going to put all the answers in the chat box. So for the breakfast today, I had pancakes. No article here. Right. Simple enough. I was born in 1980 instead of am, because it's in the past, obviously. Monica suggested me, let's do this one actually. Monica suggested me to go to the doctor's. Do we need to change anything here? And what?
Yes. Monica suggested I go to the doctor,
Yes.
or Monica suggested going to the doctors, or
Yes.
Monica suggested to go to the doctors.
The only one that's not correct is the last one. To go to the doctor's, no. But the other
but
two are right.
You told number 9 is okay.
Exactly.
I
No,
cannot believe
number
that
9 would be with going. Cloud suggested
okay.
going to the cinema this evening.
Okay, got.
All right. Number 3, my mother visited Paris first and then visited Madrid. This one's good, but we could change it to use the past perfect. My mother had visited Paris, then visited Madrid. So we can change it, but we don't have to. It's okay the way it is. How many days do we wait? So you have to choose which auxiliary here. How many days must we wait, or how many days do we wait, but not both? And, oops, sorry, I'm just getting these corrections right. Okay, last one. What do you suggest us to say to your mother? Okay, another suggest one. Do you guys want to do this?
Yes, please. What do you suggest we say to your mother?
Perfect. Yes.
Or what do you suggest saying to your mother?
That's possible if you want to leave out the information of the object. If you want to just like get rid of that information, then you can do that as well. Okay, I put all the corrections in both of the chat boxes. And we are out of time today, so I want to thank you guys for sticking around and working really hard on these. I know it can be kind of difficult if we run into issues, and it can be frustrating to learn all these. There's lots of topics we talk about, so it can be frustrating. But you guys did really, really well, and yeah, you should be proud of yourselves.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
see you guys soon.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.